and they will tell you either that nigga's dead, or he's in Washington State somewhere, or he's back in Germany, and they will know because that number was forever.
Nowadays, niggas just check your social media, man.
Right?
They ain't trying to do all that. Oh, he ain't posted nothing in about 6 months. Oh, that nigga might be dead. You know?
We don't.
Then you got to check one of the social medias. I mean, you got 4 different platforms you can go to. So you got Twitter,
Instagram, and Facebook, and hell, now TikTok.
Right. That's crazy. But that's but anyway, that's our story, you know, and I'm glad you're on, man.
Appreciate
I
it.
knew you'd be on for this week, you know how we do.
Oh yeah.
You know, we started with the other stuff, but we roll into this. But so anyways, how y'all doing, man? It's Monday, weekend's over. Easter was yesterday.
Yeah.
How was y'all's Easter?
Man, you know me, I don't really celebrate that mess. I don't like to get in the way of anybody that does, but you know, to me, it's just, it was a 3-day weekend, and I was going to relax and enjoy that shit. Wasn't trying to go to nobody's house and see nobody, do none of that. I cooked at home. I was good.
No church. No church. No, I didn't go to church. You know.
Oh no.
Oh man, I didn't make nothing special, dude. All I wanted to make was this chicken and tomato sauce dish that I make, and it's just a little spicy, like you put over rice. It's kind of something I made up, inspired by some Mediterranean food I ate one time.
Well, you should have came by yesterday because we grilled like a mug.
Yes, I saw the
video
pictures.
strips. We had these. Danessa, if you're watching, that Caribbean shit is hot as a motherfucker. That's all I. That shit, my shrimp, man. I can deal with it, but for a while, your shit be on fire. It's supposed to be from the Caribbean. When I first smelled it, ooh, that's gonna be sweet. Got a little cinnamon taste. Cook that shit up here. Try one.
Hey man.
Woo!
That Caribbean
burning your
fire,
lips,
man.
It had a nice sink to it.
Which one?
The Caribbean.
The Caribbean flavor.
That
Okay.
is all I used. I cooked my shrimp, had them ready. I sprinkled that on it, mixed them up, and that's it. I didn't use nothing else. So that shit is hot. But anyways, yeah. So if you'll get the Danessa Caribbean, what was it, Lola baby?
Yeah, Nola baby.
Nola baby. If you're gonna eat that, have a glass of milk ready.
Nola baby season.
They still burn you the fuck up. But yeah, we had lobster
Milk
tails.
beer, nigga.
Right? We had lobster tails. We had the hot ass shrimp. We had New York strip. We had these tenderloins that with the bacon around them and shit. What else we had? We got this 2 big ass chicken breasts, mashed potatoes, broccoli, and corn on the cob.
What y'all cook for the block?
No, that was just for us. That was, it was 3 New York strips that we sliced up, and Ron had this special steak because Ron like his steak burnt.
Burn it up.
No red. I always tell him you're like chicklets because you're gonna be snips. So
right,
you're like a damn chicklet.
Make sure it's dead.
I only believe none of that.
My dad would. I'm good. Pop, I can still see red through that. The marks. You didn't give a damn. He said that's the best way. I'm like, no, I'm sorry, man. I don't care how
there's ways to get it all the way done and still be juicy.
Yes. Yes. And
That's what we
did.
You just gotta know how you doing your thing out there.
Right.
I just want red.
See,
I understand.
I don't mind.
I'm like that. My all of my steak has to be well done. I don't play around. So I got you, man.
No, see, I don't mind. I used to be like that. I used to require a well done steak, but after a certain point, I said, okay, let me try.
Oh.
And I can do a medium. I can do a medium.
Oh,
you know, where it's got a little pink on the middle.
They got it.
I can't do those ones where it's like just barely brown on the outside. That's it. No, I gotta have it cooked a little way through.
I'm with you, man, because I used to,
Hey,
when I was younger, I don't even want the brown juice that you're saying is juice on my plate because I know
That's blood.
I want that.
it's actually not.
It's coagulant.
Yeah. It's part of the meat, but it's not. But it's not.
It's still blood, man. No,
it's not blood. It's not blood.
It's coagulated.
Right?
It's blood coagulated.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So as I started cooking, I started learning about cooking, and I got older, so my teeth ain't that good. So I'm with you. I can deal with that little strip of pink right
there. Yeah, exactly.
Medium done, medium
well.
Which they'll have just a little bit, because I can't do that.
Because it makes it softer.
Right.
It really does make it softer.
When I got out of the Air Force in '91, and I happened to be working at this restaurant, And I had these customers that came in, and they tipped really well. Point being, the dude told me, he said, man, put my steak on the grill for 20 seconds on one side, for 10 seconds on the other side, and bring it out. Hey, man,
That shit was red.
give it to him like you want to do.
And the steak on the outside was still the white bristle part. Or what one of those that had that
Just
fat?
yeah, just about. They were just about. But you know, he's one of them biker types, man.
I'll eat this.
Older hippie guy, come in with 7 or 8 family members, man. And some of them are kids, and that's how he wanted this steak, man. He was like, man, if I get it like this, you will be tipped well. So, man, look,
Shit.
y'all need to
I'm
look here. Back
gonna
there,
be
back.
watching the cook 3,
Look, matter of
4,
fact, give me the
5.
steak. Let me do it. I'm trying to make sure I
I'm gonna be
get my
watching
money
the cook
right.
4, 7, 10, right to
Hey, man, so, you know,
to make sure I tell him.
my wife eats steak like that, but oddly enough, man, she can't kiss me. She got to brush her teeth, man. I don't do that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
no, I don't-
crucial, man.
I
That's
don't
crucial.
Serious.
God damn. Hey,
Yeah, no, I can't do
did
red.
y'all hear that shit about the dude and the gay dog?
A gay dog.
Yes, man.
Did you heard about that? Okay, so in North Carolina, right, this dude took his dog and turned it into the shelter. And the reason he gave for not wanting the dog was that he said he took the dog to a dog park and he caught his male dog humping another male dog. So he said he didn't want no gay nine. So he took it to
Canine.
he took it to the shelter and dumped it because he was like, it's a gay dog.
He might have just been horny as
And
hell.
I'm not joking.
He might have just been horny as hell, just wanted whatever.
But see,
It's the
dogs
first one
don't
to him.
dogs don't even hump for sex. For them, that's dominance.
I don't like that.
You know?
That's dominance, because
It-
they'll
it-
hump your leg.
Right. It ain't got nothing to do with sex. For them, that's somebody who doesn't understand animal behavior and trying to apply human morals to animal behavior. It's
Right.
not the same thing.
Right,
Not the same thing.
right.
Yeah, it's not the same
But
thing.
that's
But then the dog was adopted from the shelter by a gay couple.
Yeah, they
Oh, no.
a gay couple. This gay couple.
Yeah, so they didn't put on the cage. This is a gay night.
Oh no!
But in their local news, the dog was the story got when the story got out.
So the dog was a
So
story.
they said they went to the shelter. They was just looking to like donate some stuff for it, so the dog would have some nice stuff while it's in the shelter. And they said they fell in love with the dog and decided to adopt it.
The dog probably, while they look at the dog, probably the dog was in there doing mission. Yeah, we'll take that one.
You can't make this up, dude.
I mean, this is
That's
the
crazy.
real world.
Sounds
Sounds
like
some
some non-clone stories.
shit. Yeah, for real.
I gotta ask.
That's
I
crazy.
just gotta ask. Fuck it, I gotta ask.
Okay.
So John, let me ask you a question.
Go for it.
So when you see like a male dog humping a male dog, it don't bother you?
Why would it?
Okay, so I don't know.
Okay.
But you don't necessarily know, because I ain't checking them out like that.
Right.
If it ain't my dog,
Yeah.
No, I mean it's
So
your.
I guess if you know,
I mean it's your dogs. I got two. I
If-
have 4 male dogs.
if my dog is like that, then I'm like, yo, come here.
All right, that's
Let's-
my
let's-
dog.
yeah,
That's my
But,
whole
but, I
point.
mean, but that's any dog.
but I'm gonna- but I'm gonna-
know it's a male
I'm
dog.
not tripping.
I'm gonna get my dog off of somebody else's dog.
Right.
It's not. I have a problem with what they doing. It's just that person might not be comfortable with my dog all up on theirs. So I'm just gonna
That's
get my
dog
dog
park.
at a GP. Yeah, it's like a child that's getting out of line.
No.
yeah,
Okay.
no,
But I mean, otherwise it don't. I don't look at it as a sexual thing because that's not how they
There's
do
no
it.
science shit that says that dogs and animals are gay.
There he is. Yeah,
There
there's
is been studies that
They've
know that.
actually people used to think it was rare, but now they're discovering that it's way more common than we ever thought. You have prides being run by 2 male lions. You know what I'm saying? And no females in sight, but they adopt stray cubs when they come along.
Who
Stuff-
adopt cubs?
These gay lines.
Not no lion.
Yeah.
They
No,
It-
a lion will kill the cubs of a female that gave birth.
Not these two
if
males.
that female,
Not these
if
two
that
male
lion
lions.
gave birth,
It's two males
ahead
running
of
the
time.
pride.
But it's two male lions that's living together
It's
without
a
any
bunch of male
females.
dudes. A bunch of male lines with
And they taking in straight cubs.
I'm silly. I'm done. I'm good.
You know what I'm saying?
These are things you can look up if you doubt me.
I ain't tripping, man. Go ahead, man.
Before you switch it up, man.
I'm the cameraman.
Did you hear about the lady that was on jury duty, and she told the judge she couldn't serve on jury duty, man, because she had a sugar daddy that paid her out $8,000 a month. She was married, but she had a sugar daddy that she had to see every single day. And yes, they let her off jury duty.
White lady.
No.
Oh, what?
It was a sister?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
White dude.
I don't know.
Which white dude that paid that shit off?
My
She said
head.
$8,000 is green dude.
Right?
Hey, man. But
Hey,
seriously,
hey,
because if you think about it, that's just like you could say, oh, well, me serving on jury duty will create a problem at my job.
Right.
She said it's going to create a financial hardship.
Right. That makes sense.
Bitch.
Yeah.
The judge was
Get
like,
your
what?
ass over there.
That-
$8,000 for the next 3 days. It's only what 16, like 24.
Oh no,
you ain't gonna lose.
she was
shit.
there. She was there on a serious case, man. So she was like
Oh, she
2
was
weeks,
scared to be- oh.
3 weeks. She was like, look, man, this is going. I need to see this dude every day. I'm married, but I got to see this dude every day. So
And
wait,
go
wait,
ahead
wait,
and
wait, wait, wait.
box
Hold on,
and
hold on.
shut the hell
So wait,
up, bitch.
the sugar daddy was the side piece?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
damn.
She put it out there in court, man, like it was the normal thing to do. And then she did a news story. When they talked to her on the street, man, to her it was a normal thing, but they
Right,
let her out
right.
the jury, dude.
So
Yeah.
She said,
I thought the sugar daddy was the one. I mean, because he paying, he should get exclusive rights. So you going?
Exclusive.
I mean, I'm just saying. You know,
I'm assuming he is,
Right.
because I'm
But-
assuming that her husband is okay with, because she was on TV,
She get 8,000.
national TV, talking about it.
wow.
They showed her in the courtroom where the judge looked at her like she was crazy. The judge was like, "What did you say?"
So they showed her face on TV.
Get your
Yeah.
ass
Wow.
down.
Yes,
Wow.
yes, there was no shame in that game.
Talk about a cuckold, man.
man, 8 racks, is
Man.
8 racks.
I
8 racks is 8 racks.
Like, you know what, baby, go ahead and let me get at least 3 days worth out of it. You can have the rest of the week.
What was that? What was that movie with Demi Moore, Indecent Proposal?
Right.
That nigga told what? That'd have been Basic Attraction Part 2.
There it is.
Oh
So,
boy.
so anyways, y'all saw our website, www.thedailysmoke.com. Go there for everything about the smoke. Cash App, we need donations from your support. $ TD smoke. And that, any little bit helps. We don't, it could be $1, but don't say $1 because that's just going to take up the processing fee. So we're going to get 20 cents. At least $2 so I can get it for it. Something like that. But yeah, so anyways, we're here today because it's a special week for us that indulge in the cannabis,
That partake.
that partake in the
Yeah,
cannabis.
so
and,
we're gonna talk a little bit about the history of marijuana. Talk about the fight to make it legal because there was actually no reason to make it illegal in the first place,
Right.
and now we have to fight to make it legal again because it used to be 100% absolutely legal in the United States and in most of the world.
right.
Right. That's the sad part.
But in the United States, though, before they started making it illegal, it was only recreational use wasn't something they normally did. It
Well,
was they cultivated because they had laws where you're a farmer, you got to grow some hemp. Plain and simple. If you don't, we're gonna take your shit.
but the thing about it is in the United States back in those days, what you really had was you had it being used in a lot of medicines. So
Right.
people didn't take it recreationally, but it was one of the most popular cough medicines back then. And,
Hell yeah.
back then they call it a cough medicine, but that was everything. Just like old folks
Right,
put
right,
Robitussin on
So
everything.
they had drink back then.
Basically, yeah. And so all of these different medicines that people was taking was the main ingredient was cannabis.
Right.
And that was the thing. They called it cannabis back then, so everybody knew it under that name. And then
Fake shit.
when you had and let's get into it, y'all.
Right.
So when it originally became illegal, I'm sorry, is because during the Spanish-American War, after the Spanish-American War, rather, you had a lot of Mexican immigrants leaving Mexico and coming into the United States.
Right.
Now, they brought the habit of smoking the
Marijuana.
marijuana. So that was their way of taking it back then.
Right.
And of course, that produces a different effect from when you ingest it or whatever. And so, basically, to demonize these Mexican immigrants, the political powers at that time said, no. This marijuana, which, like I said, back then everybody knew as cannabis. Nobody knew what marijuana was.
Right.
And they didn't realize, we're talking about the same thing that you get at your local pharmacy.
Right.
So they demonized these Mexican immigrants because of that.
Hey, Mama Joyce, what's up? This is a good old friend of mine.
Yeah,
from
man, I
high
messed up
school.
on the intro.
This
So
is
we
Rick.
need to introduce him again. I
Okay,
messed
so
up
this is
on the
a
intro.
friend of mine from high school. We grew up in Germany, military brat, stylist forever, brother. You know what I'm saying?
Forever the
You know,
day.
shit. So, and he's on here today because, like me, he's also the same.
And
We didn't joke.
give me a win.
And he will be back on Wednesday.
We are of
for
like
the special
mind.
part.
Yes, we
But yeah,
will.
on the Daily Smoke today.
Yes, we will.
Right, we go way back. You see, we got all this gray, we all old.
Thank you for being on, brother Rick.
Sure.
I appreciate the invite.
Yeah.
You've
yeah.
invited me before, but
Right. No, but you always did say for sure if you ever come on first, you want to come in here. Now you know, and hopefully we have you for some more serious details.
Absolutely.
And any other stallions out there watching? What's up? Y'all need to watch every day, not just when Rick come on. Goddamn. You need y'all to watch every day. Don't. You see, we got new shit. We don't have to do smoking blunt no more, even though we partake. But it's a whole different. What it means now when we say, the daily smoke, the smoke means come clear the smoke with us, come blow some smoke with us, come smoke with us,
There it
or
is.
whatever the hell you want smoke to be. That's what we mean by it. So don't let the name fool you. It's not just us sitting here. As you see, I wish I could, but we're not smoking.
bring the smoke.
And
Right.
Bring
Just
the
bring the
smoke.
smoke, whatever.
and really, the only reason why we even talking about marijuana as a subject is because 420 is coming up this Wednesday.
Right.
So
right.
we're gonna have another show for y'all on Wednesday talking about the other side of marijuana. Right now, we're gonna be focused on the legal side.
Sorry.
On Wednesday, though, we're gonna talk about the plant itself, talk about the benefits of it, talk about some of the things that it can and can't do. Some myths and some truths gonna get spread on Wednesday.
Right,
so
right.
be sure and come back and check us out then too.
Because it's really going to be weed time.
That's why I'm glad Rick with us, man. Because from the day we met Rick, through you. But man, Rick is like a really intelligent dude. And Rick can break down to you what we're talking about today along with Jonathan himself. Hey man, this is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Man, you give me too
He
much
can break down
credit.
what it is. So the next time you see this man indulging, don't trip. He already told you what it is.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm glad the brother with us, man. Thank you for being on the
Right.
show, brother.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And
Thank
like
you.
like he was saying, like in America and all over the world, it was hemp. Some places did hashish. They learned that later, but it was hemp. Sails, ropes, clothes, everything was made with this way.
Paper, yeah.
Paper, and see that's what part of the problem was
Yes.
too. It was messing with the lumber industry.
Right.
First.
You built up such a
Right.
They
So-
built up such a massive lumber industry that hemp presented a real problem because it grows
Faster,
Right.
so much faster.
and it's cheaper.
Right. But they do say after they made it illegal, the very next year, ropes were made out of nylon, which that's what brings in DuPont and Hearst,
There you go.
trees and chemicals to make the paper we have today.
And it's like we was talking about the other day. We all hear these stories about this politician or this businessman who was doing this to try to make it illegal for his benefit. What I think it really was, and just like you see in a lot of things that we deal with when it comes to politics today, I think it was a lot of different things. I think you probably had several different industries that was looking at the hemp business and saying, if this stays around, this is going to cut into our profit. And then you had several politicians who, on the cut, taking their money and saying, okay, we're going to pass these laws. We're going to make it happen. I mean, I've heard too many different stories about, like you said, DuPont and Hertz and all of that. So I know that all of those can't be false, But that means all of them also have some truth to
They
them
all had the
too.
plan. I mean, the one that made it work was Harry, the Harry guy, Harry
Anslinger.
Anslinger. He's the one that came up with the marijuana tax.
Right.
The marijuana tax, which I mean now, even though it wasn't illegal at the time, people that bartered in it, now you had to pay a tax. So they were trying to already put it on them. One of the other reasons is also part of our show. Racism had a big part in why they
racism.
did this.
That was the
Also,
key.
Well, in one, when the Mexicans did come over and start bringing it for recreational use, and a lot of people didn't do it that much in America, so they made it to where you see they're going to be criminals. They do bad stuff. This is not good for you. And then at one point, the dude said, it made the brothers. What do you say?
Oh yeah, they said they said that it made black men think they was as good as white men.
And horny.
It made the white women horny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Because it made the white women want to have sex with brothers.
That's crazy, man. This is
your
all.
thoughts on it, Rick?
Man, the powers that be, I'm sure there were some Mexicans that were using it for medicinal reasons because they knew things about the plant way before we did.
Mhm.
I'm sure some might have been using it for religious reasons, maybe.
Oh yeah.
But it comes down to money, and anything that you can't tax and control and make money from, Uncle Sam's gonna have a problem, bro. But I do remember seeing the ads where it clearly stated that black men got wild and wanted to have sex with white women and this and this and this and that.
They did that Reefer Madness.
That's what I was just gonna say. Yeah.
Reefer Madness.
1936.
They did
It made
Reefer
people
Madness.
crazy.
And then some of those policies still, in some form or fashion, hold true today, just with rewording of laws.
They getting rid of that shit. They getting rid of it.
Well, that's one of the things I was going to talk about is this new law that they just passed in Congress called the MORE Act, MORE, and it stood for Marijuana Opportunity Reinvestment and Expungement. And see, now don't get me wrong, I don't think this is going to pass the Senate because that's where it would still have to go in order to become actual law. But if it did, this would actually be a huge step in the right direction as far as marijuana and being more fair across the board. Because one of the main things that this is going to do is that if you're sitting in jail right now and the only thing you're in jail for is possession of marijuana or, something like that, non-violent, anything like that, you will have the opportunity to have your case reviewed. You might get the chance to get out of jail, and depending on the circumstances of your crime, whatever you were charged with, you might even be able to get your record expunged.
You're asking a lot of white people.
If it came
But-
involved with that,
Let's keep moving.
But
Next question.
this is the law that they came up with. This ain't us.
Right.
This is already passed the House.
I saw that pass the House.
Yeah.
The ironic thing is
that's
that
crazy.
now those same politicians that today demonize it are making money off it because they own stocks and they sit on boards
Right.
of corporations and things of that nature. Meanwhile, the same people that can benefit from this, from being let go from incarceration,
Right.
some states are even giving them frontline priority to get licenses to sell.
Yeah.
But the other hurdle you have is money. See, all of the big players, they've got dispensaries all around the country in states where it's legal. But if the three of us are coming out of jail,
Thank you.
where do we get the money?
Thank you.
We ain't got
Who's
no
going to give us the backing
Thank you.
Right.
to get on this same level playing field, so to speak?
Thank you.
That's actually another component of that MORE Act. Because one of the things that it does is if I remember correctly, it gives priority to minorities and people who have previous
Conviction.
drug convictions to be able to get funding and things like that from the government to be able to start like dispensaries and stuff like that. So it actually does address that. Again, I
Repeat
don't.
that again, please.
It will give people who are from minority groups.
Stop. Since when has this country been on the side of minorities?
Run.
Let me put it this way.
What are you asking me, man?
I just asked you.
Because
Since when?
I'm just telling you what the law includes.
I'm asking you a question.
Okay.
When
You're
public
putting
relations
information
are
out
good,
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, he's putting the information out there. I want to make sure that the people that are privy to this information that this brother's putting out there understand the context in which it's being presented.
when it makes that same government that put them in jail look good.
Right.
Okay.
That's one. My thing is, y'all motherfuckers already know how to do this shit, so go and work it.
Has the 13th Amendment been repealed?
Nope.
No.
I'm going to ask the question again. Since when were they on our side? Or why
They
is
never
that
been.
even?
They ain't never
Right
been.
now.
Oh, okay.
Right
Because see, the reason I'm addressing it, and I'm not trying to take over your show. The reason I'm addressing it, I don't want that to be put out there as if the government is on our side.
No. And that's why I say it. I'm just telling you what it says.
Just a
I'm
PR
not-
move.
I'm
Right.
putting it in the context.
I'm not trying to sell anybody on a bill of rights on this and
Fair
think it's the holy grail.
Fair
But this is just what the law says.
All right.
As
fair
of right
enough.
now,
I
that's
said
how it's
that.
written. So that can get
And,
taken
and
out.
this is what has
And
passed the House.
Okay.
Right.
So we're not talking about a proposed bill. We at least talking about something that has been passed in the
Halfway.
House of Congress.
Halfway.
Yeah.
So that's
Okay.
just to say, hey, look, they're on our side. Let's vote for them.
really that's
And
what
then
it
at
is.
the end, they take that shit out.
Because
That's what I'm saying.
they pass a law like this through the House. They pass a law like this through the House. So when they go on this midterm election that's coming up, they can say, "Hey, look, we're on your side. We're
Right.
trying to legalize marijuana. Now we just got to get it through the Senate. And if y'all vote for us, then we're gonna get it passed."
You know Democrats gonna do that, right?
No,
So Republicans doing it.
the Democrats are the ones who's proposed this law,
That's my point.
but they still not gonna pass it.
That's my point.
Yeah,
That's funny
Right, because the vote was almost partisan.
right.
It was almost
It was
partisan
damn near party line.
the way it passed.
And that's
So we know what to expect when it goes to the Senate.
yeah. So and that's funny because it was a Democrat from Louisiana, Hobbs, that introduced a bill, the Hobbs Act,
Right.
that made it more criminal it brought on the Narcotics Something Act
You said Louisiana?
in Louisiana. So
You said
he was-
Louisiana.
He was a Democrat. From, yeah. No, I know what you're saying. He was a Democrat
Exactly.
from Louisiana. And
Exactly,
he's the one that brought that
Exactly.
up to where,
Exactly.
once that Narcotics Act came to play, they put minimum sentences on them.
Yeah.
Those are what
Like
they call
him-
enhancements.
Right. So if you got caught with weed, you can get the minimum of 2 to 10 years.
Minimum?
Yeah, that's the minimum, 2 to 10 years. And then it got
Now when
heavier.
they go the way of that scale,
That's just this.
now you got 1,000 pounds. How much you gonna get?
Ooh, you get no. Or
You did say Louisiana, man.
I know. No, in some places they have where if you get caught with so many 100 pounds, you get considered kingpin. That's life in prison.
Yep.
That's life in prison.
Yeah.
Because they figure you got 1,000 pounds of weed or 1,000 pounds of whatever the fuck drug. They charge you with kingpin status, and that's life in prison.
You know what?
That charge alone.
Going back
Ain't
to
that
your,
crazy?
I'm sorry, man. Going back to your original point there, the laws that made weed illegal and the things behind it. There are just certain states when I travel, no matter where I am, I'm conscious of where I am.
Right.
And there are just certain states I do not want it to be stopped in
I know,
if I got some weed.
right? Even
Louisiana is on the top of that list.
Damn. I can imagine.
that's
Louisiana's one of them places I'm scared to drive through.
Over Georgia?
Hell yeah.
Wow. Georgia's
Man,
rough- Georgia's rough too.
I don't want to get stopped in Louisiana for nothing, bro.
Right?
No, Louisiana kind
Louisiana and Mississippi.
you disappear.
Oh no, you got Boss Hall getting out.
Yeah,
the car
really.
to talk to you and shit.
When
Hey, Boss.
the cops step out of the car, you hear banjo music.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll make sure that when I'm driving to Georgia, that when I get to the Mississippi state line, it's only like 90 miles wide. But I make sure I got enough gas where I can just pass right on through there, man, without even stopping, dude.
You know what's funny when I
Real talk, man.
and this is real talk too. When I went to travel school, I met this dude that we were doing together, and he got a job in Houston, so he was going to drive down. So I mapped it out for him. And the best way, come right here, go straight down Mississippi, do this. And I said, now look, that's the line. Now look, you want to hit the beginning before you get into Mississippi. You want to stop because you don't want to stop while you're there. So if you need to rest. So that the next stop you make is after you get out to motherfucker. But once you get out of there, you're going into Louisiana. So
Be ready.
But at least get this state out the way. Now deal with this one because you're going that way and then you're almost home, But I remember telling him that, look, man, I don't know if we're going to spend, I don't know nothing about Mississippi, and I'm sure ain't nothing wrong with Mississippi other than, it's Mississippi. But I'm not trying to get stuck in Mississippi either, shit like that. So,
Hey, bro.
Back in the days of the Green Book, y'all ever heard of that?
Yes, sir. I seen the movie.
Back in the days of the Green Book, that was one of those. I guarantee you, that was one of those places. If you probably looked it up, you're like, it's just best if you drive on through, unless you got family.
Keep going, man.
You want to just keep on going.
I'm not trying to end up like Eddie Murphy, having to give up my cornbread for life. Fuck that.
Hey man, let me ask y'all a question, man. Like one of our viewers had said when y'all was talking about marijuana, they said that they would have thought. I'll read exactly what they said. I won't cite the English that wrote it. They said, I would think the original Indians. They're talking about Native Americans. I would think the original Indians were the founders of the uses of marijuana. So I think we was talking about how the conception of marijuana came about and how we may have a big misunderstanding regarding it. What are y'all thoughts on that? In terms of the original?
It's the government's misunderstanding.
Okay.
It ain't our misunderstanding.
Okay.
We, the natives, Native Americans, they know exactly what they were doing. They know why they were using it. Mexican people, they didn't know why they were using it.
Mexicans are Native Americans.
Right. But the other folks on the Mayflower, they was like, what's this?
They didn't know what it was up in Europe yet.
Yeah.
Because like what I had learned is the oldest you can go back and trace hemp is to 8,000 BC. It was this pottery made of the hemp. It was because it was fibers, and that's the farthest back they went, and that was in Taiwan, what is known today as Taiwan. So that's how far it is. So it started over there and made its way this way. And it slowly, like I said, from there. There's another one like around 2500 BC where they found it in some other stuff. Then they started finding it in graves of like prominent people. They said they found one that from 2500 BC with the leaf and everything, the buzz was still good, like it was still in there. I'm like, that shit should have disintegrated.
Recognizable.
Maybe I didn't understand the question because I'm like, that shit should have been gone. But they knew they gave them like a whole chunk of the leaf and put it in the grave with it. And they knew that they would do a lot of rituals and because it put you in a certain state that, because then India got into it and Afghanistan, and then they started producing hash, and it was allowed. In a lot of places, it was allowed. It was like, okay, no problem. Hey, everybody's chilling. They say in China, like way back in the day, some of the emperors, I think, used to smoke it to just get in a chill mode.
Back then they were smoking opium too.
Right.
See, so it over on the European spectrum, it was more of the opium thing, I think, not saying that they weren't growing marijuana and using it over there, but the natives right here,
once they knew what the fuck was going on.
Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned opium because just like marijuana, how they legalized somewhat because, made it illegal somewhat because of race, they did that to the Chinese in California and made opium illegal to control the Chinese population. That's crazy. It's like,
man, this
is all about just what they would do.
Control is what it's about.
Right. So the plant has been around. It's been on Earth forever and a day. They just figured out what to do with it. Once, my always thought is somebody threw some in the fire, the smoke got them, and they noticed how they all were happy, like, yo, we can smoke this shit, before they go.
When I was in the military in Japan, man, in '87, it grows on the side of the road just wild, man.
Yeah.
It just grows on the side of the road wild.
I've heard of parts of India that's like that. Literally, you be driving down the street and you see grass just growing in a field, and then when you look, you realize, wait a minute, that's just a field of just marijuana just growing right there.
Right, but see, I see a lot of that though is hemp, and you can't get high off of hemp.
Yeah,
hemp is to make
It is
with.
Right, and that's what
you know.
some of that wild stuff is. But again, if it's just out there growing wild, man, that plant's been here since the beginning.
Right. It's just a weed. That's why they call it weed time. It's a weed. It grows everywhere. It doesn't. But the hemp, you can't get high off the hemp. That's,
Right.
It's like they talk about how when marijuana started becoming illegal, its cousin hemp got wrapped up in that shit. It's
Yeah.
like, yo, man, I don't fuck with y'all. Why y'all fucking with me? Because you in this family. Come on.
But no, because and that's where the money aspect really comes in. Because the recreational use back then would have accounted for a small piece of the market when it comes to the actual money involved.
Right.
Hemp makes more and better paper. Hemp makes more and better rope.
Right.
Hemp makes more and better just about everything.
and it grows.
You can even make
And there's-
plastic
and
out
there's
of
the
hemp
problem,
right.
that is biodegradable. You can make fuel out of hemp.
There's the
So
problem.
you cutting into the
Cutting
to
in
the oil
loggers,
industry.
You cut in the loggers, the oil industry, anybody else that makes any toilet paper people, Kimberly Clark, all of those type of folks. Now you messing with their pocket, man.
Right.
Exactly.
Procter and Gamble, hold up, man.
Especially with pharmaceuticals.
Tesla, hey, we gotta shut you down, baby. But you messing with my pocket, man.
Right. Right. Yeah, I know. Because then you have, like I said, that's just with Tesla.
Yeah.
Think about it. If you got a
What did Tesla do with the batteries, man? Back in the day, trying to make them electric.
Right. But
if you made a biofuel
out of hemp.
out of hemp that don't do no harm to the environment, then you're not in a rush to make electric cars.
That makes sense. I didn't know. You know that?
No, that's what I'm listening.
We're looking at Tesla cars.
Right.
Where do you think they got the name from?
Nikola Tesla.
From
What did he do?
electricity. He was electric. He make a
That's where that company name came from.
right. From
Man,
hemp.
they thought that dude was crazy.
True.
Now they got a whole damn fleet of cars on this damn street.
Right.
True.
But don't use weed to make no fuel because my shit will shut down.
But that's not why they shut Tesla down back in the day. Like he was on some,
just some
he
crazy.
was doing some other stuff.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
But that ain't the conversation.
Right, right.
The conversation is like, really, Tesla, really?
Yeah, because you would make a biofuel that you don't need it. Yeah, he's right. Why would I need it? Why would the government give me funding for? Man, we just use
Man,
hemp.
why you think they don't want these electric cars on the road? All that oil coming out the ground.
Right.
Really?
Until that oil stop coming out the ground, man, look.
And if you could do that with hemp,
Because Tesla died in poverty. Y'all understand that?
Yes.
right?
They
right.
broke that man.
Yeah.
But going back to the original subject, the hemp industry is going to put a dent
I get what you're saying.
in those people
All that
who
money.
use trees.
It would have made a revolution in those industries, just like Tesla would have done with electricity.
Right, right. Yeah,
Yes,
because
sir.
if I know I can go get a regular car, and
I mean,
go for
at
the
least I
hemp,
think that's my understanding of it, man.
Right.
I may be
You
wrong,
sound right. You know,
but I'm just having a
No, I'm
conversation.
following you. I'm following your logic.
But think about it. If I can get in my car, go to the gas station, and get gas that's made out of hemp, which is everywhere, my price is gonna be a lot cheaper than getting this electricity from this man over here.
How many?
Even though they're giving it away free now.
Check this out. They advertise all of these electric cars, right? There's several automakers that have hybrid cars. When you go to these gas stations to fill up your gas tank, man, how many electric pumps do you see? Where Tesla can pull up and plug in for 30 minutes to get fully charged, or 20 minutes, however long it takes.
Right, right,
Bro,
right.
you don't see that,
I
man.
wanted to address the Bernie. Bernie was saying that making hemp illegal for the black farmer to get rich. But that also hurt a lot of white people too, because they, like in Kentucky, they even have the little historical thing that this used to be a big hemp farm that once they made it illegal, they had to cut all that shit. Now these people are like poor as fuck where they're from there. So I can see what he's saying. If black farmers had, which some did once they got free, they had farms, which make some hemp.
But
They're trying to make a living, then you come
No
and shut
more.
that down.
that just goes to show you, it ain't about. I mean, really, it ain't about race.
Yeah, it's
It's
about
about
class.
the have and the have not.
Right,
Control.
right.
If you on top, you on top. But if you on the bottom, I need to have my foot on your neck.
It's about control. It's about control, man. The same people that got on TV talking about, man, COVID ain't nothing. Man, they invested in COVID companies
In
that's
the
doing
damn
testing
pharmaceutical companies that's making the vaccines. Yeah.
behind your back.
Right.
I mean, so it's about control when it comes to marijuana.
Yeah.
Right.
Look at all these states, Colorado, they're giving people money back. You know, you pay state taxes,
They
this,
get
this,
so
and that.
much money.
Man, they're giving citizens of the state of Colorado money back
That's why I always said
because they have a surplus of money.
if I
And
was
the crime rates go down
Right, they don't
when you
understand that.
legalize marijuana.
That's what I always say. In my government, I'm gonna let every state do that shit. Cause now you making tons of money. Don't ask me for shit. Y'all can take care of all the poor people. I got money to take care of bigger shit.
Right.
Now y'all. So in other words, nothing's federally funded. You're all funding it yourself. Y'all in,
Really?
plus I get taxed though, but I get some of that money.
Weed heads are funding state roads,
Right, right,
fixing potholes.
right.
Smokers
Old
are
people
funding that,
homes
man.
and shit, and schools and infrastructure, all this
Yeah.
stuff that it's doing. But that's what we were going to say about the plant. It's not something that a lot of people. It's this brainwashing, this reefer madness, and all this shit they put in our heads to where, wait a minute, in America, back since the 1600, it was legal. You do it, you can have it with no big deal. So and then they shut it down because of motherfuckers got greedy, and now they're seeing that. I mean, because back then they even had scientists tell them, "Oh, there's nothing wrong with this shit."
Right.
They ignored that shit. Like, no,
They
we didn't hear a
literally-
damn thing you said. This shit is bad. It's gonna make you crazy. They didn't even give a damn.
Literally commissioned a study to study marijuana and say, okay, let's see how bad it is. And the study came back and said, yeah, it's not bad. It doesn't do anything.
They dismissed their own.
And they
study.
said, okay, well, we
Right.
don't want to hear from y'all. We just gonna say it's bad anyway. And
Right.
pass
That's
these
just,
laws.
that's just gonna be what it is.
and they commissioned the study. That's like,
Now-
no, you lied.
Now, I will say this, okay. There is one downside to legalization. There is one downside that I've been able to find that I think could be a real problem. And that's that whenever, as we've seen marijuana get legalized in different places around the country, the one thing that they've noticed is the increase in the levels of THC. The problem with that is that THC in large amounts can lead to psychosis. So you do run that risk when you take in large amounts of THC. Now, the thing about marijuana is the natural plant has CBD in it, which balances the effects of the THC. So it winds up being a null equation when you're smoking just regular weed. But as people grow these more and more powerful strains, as they make dabs and crystals,
Some of
and
them have no
all
CBD
yeah,
at all.
all of it is just pure THC.
Shit, that's
That
okay.
kind of stuff can lead to mental problems if you're smoking it too much.
I guess that's
So-
what's wrong with me.
You really need the whole plant. You really need the whole plant in order for it to have the real benefits and be able to walk away from it and say, yeah, it's not doing me any harm. Otherwise, you run the risk of literally messing up your mind. So they've done studies where back in the day, like back in our day when we was coming up, the weed we smoked had about a 4% THC. They said now, on average, most weed has about 12% THC.
Mm-hmm.
That's a huge jump.
Hell yeah,
And then,
20%,
and in that
ooh-wee.
process, to be able to make the plant do more THC, they're cutting down on the CBD that it produces, so you're not getting that balance.
Right.
I've done some traveling here in the last couple of months. Went to Las Vegas for Christmas, Seattle for Thanksgiving, and I had the opportunity to visit several weed shops, and I was buying weed up there that was 27, 28,
Hell yeah.
45.
Real strong.
Wow.
Especially them dabs are 80 and shit.
Any product that's sold up there, it has a label on it, and I believe I have one that's for next the show
For
Right.
That's right.
on the 20th. So, matter of fact, let's just save it for that.
You know what I'm saying? Right. 24% over there,
Oh.
Burley. And then, Mama, I think what,
I wanted Johnson to explain. I was gonna wait till Rick finished.
right.
Okay.
I mean,
I got it.
did you see what
I was reading the question. Let's see. She said, Jonathan.
Let Rick finish the start, man.
Oh no! I was gonna hold that because I was gonna have
hold it for Wednesday. What do you
Yeah,
want?
he's gonna hold that.
because
for
I've got
Wednesday.
something that
Yeah.
they can take a look at.
Okay.
Okay, so it says, Why would crime go down if marijuana was made legal? They said the same thing about alcohol, but that didn't happen. Actually, yes, it did. Because you got to remember, Al Capone, all these famous gangsters that you hear about, the only reason they existed was because of prohibition. Once they made alcohol legal again, in a lot of ways that broke the back of a lot of mobs. So you had people who had to figure out how to make money doing other things where they was rich off of alcohol. And the same thing will happen once. That's one thing that'll happen if you make marijuana legal. A lot of these cartels is going to lose a whole lot of money. Second thing that's going to happen is you eliminate the sale of you eliminate a lot of crime just by not arresting people for marijuana. So you're not putting people in jail for marijuana, so your crime rate does not have those arrests counted towards it. So that in and of itself will lower the crime rate. Another thing that they notice happen is that kids stop smoking weed when it becomes legal because it's too hard for them to get it. It's not like you can hang outside the dispensary and say, hey, man, go and buy me a dime bag. People ain't going to do that because they'll get banned from the damn dispensary. So kids have a hard time finding marijuana when it becomes legal. So you get a whole lot of kids who don't even have access to it anymore. So there's a lot of ways that actually, and a lot of the states that have legalized it, when you look at their crime statistics from before they legalize it to after they legalize it, their crime rates go down.
Hey man, can I add to that?
Sure.
So when we were in high school, Jonathan and I are the same age, so we was in, I think he was the class before me, but we're relatively the same age like you were, right? And in one of our classes, man, the coach came in and was talking about the effects of different drugs on our bodies, et cetera, et cetera. And the coach said, this is in 92, as a matter of fact. The coach said, the one thing I don't have an issue with weed about regarding all of the other drugs, these are not my words, this coach's words. You know what you're doing at every single point when you're on weed. You're not influenced to the point where you're out of your mind.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I'm bringing it up is because the viewer asked the question, why would crime go down if marijuana, et cetera, et cetera? So first of all, you have to define the crime. Don't define the drug, define the crime. You get pulled over right now for smoking marijuana, more often than not, unless your eyes are bloodshot red and you're acting really abnormal, you're good. You matter of fact, they didn't even pull you over because you were driving a certain way because you were under the influence of marijuana.
Right.
You did the same crime that if you were not on marijuana, you ran a stop sign.
Right.
You ran a red light. This is very important, brothers. This is very important. That's why they stopped you. But when you started exhibiting behavior that you were under the influence of marijuana, weed, whatever you want, cannabis, whatever you want to call it, then, okay, all these other things come into issue. If you're under the influence of alcohol or cocaine, your behavior is throwing out red lights when you're driving your car. So they don't have to question whether or not you're under the influence. The test confirms what they saw.
The eyeball.
The eyeball test. You understand what I'm saying? So why am I bringing it up? Because weed in and of itself is not the same kind of, if you want to label it a drug or influencer, as what you're talking about, cocaine and alcohol.
True.
So the behaviors that you're associating with alcohol, alcohol, cocaine, methamphetamines, opium, you're not dealing with the same kind of high.
Right.
You're dealing with out of weed. Weed is from the planet.
It's preposterous to have weed classified as a
Absolutely.
Schedule 1 drug.
Absolutely.
Not the same.
As a Schedule
Absolutely.
1 drug. That is just absolutely preposterous, man.
Absolutely.
I've been smoking a long time, man.
You know what I'm saying?
But I have never known any people or hung out with people who smoked some weed and all of a sudden decided to go rob a gas station.
Right.
We don't do that, man.
Right.
Weed smokers, as far as I can tell, ain't robbing gas stations and
Absolutely,
and
bro.
hitting old ladies upside the
That's the
head.
point she was making.
Because you can go around the corner, man, and get a dime bag or a gram
Absolutely.
anywhere, man.
Right.
So on bringing down the crime thing, that was never part of those crime statistics were never really part of marijuana crime statistics.
Right.
Let's say that.
Right.
So so we're good enough to make that distinction.
Right.
Right.
Other people just try to lump it all in there together.
But even the non-marijuana related crimes go down when they legalize marijuana. So you have an effect in a given society that once you legalize this plant, once people get access to it, then all of a sudden your crime rate goes
So
down.
what you're saying is it's not a gateway drug. That's
No.
what you're saying.
Exactly.
It's not.
Exactly.
I just want to make sure we understand what we're talking about. It's not a gateway drug.
No.
The only reason
That's part of the problem.
the only reason some people would say it's gateway drug is because, first time you tried it, you get that good feeling.
I
Now
got a
somebody
whole
told
lot
you
of experience in that too, man.
Try this. Now you get some coke. Ooh, that feels bad. But it's not because the weed is smoking. No, because I wanted to be higher.
Because
So
you're
you
an addict.
told me
And-
that this white stuff makes me higher than
Because you're
weed.
an addict.
Oh, I want some of that. It got nothing to do with me smoking weed.
Because you're an
You know?
addict.
And I'm sorry,
Don't
I can't.
criminalize everybody because you're an addict.
Right.
Deal with the addict.
Right.
And I'm sorry, I can't remember
See?
the exact statistics, but I saw somewhere when I was researching this, and one of the things that they talked about was if you want to talk about a gateway drug, cigarettes are a bigger
Yes.
gateway drug to other hard drugs than marijuana has ever been, and that's based on the actual numbers. If you are, I think they said if you try cigarettes as a teenager, you are, I think, like 80% or 80 times more likely to try something else besides cigarettes, like as a hard drug. You are more likely to do that than if you if you would just smoke marijuana.
I mean, my Marlboro's new.
You know what I'm saying? I get my Newports. I get my Newports, and my Newports took. No, actually, for me, it was weed was a gateway to cigarettes.
Right.
Because I smoked weed before I ever smoked cigarettes. first.
The anxiety.
And then,
Absolutely.
because I already knew how to smoke, I figured, fuck it,
Exactly right.
we started smoking cigarettes. My boy dad left some Winstons in his truck. We took them motherfuckers, went to the dugout, and
That's
we
exactly
smoking, y'all.
right.
And then
That's
but I
how
had
it
smoked
started.
weed before that shit.
Exactly
Before
right.
that, so
But
yeah,
them
that was
cigarettes are hard to quit.
hell yeah, weed. If I
But
don't have
weed
none,
is
I don't
real.
have none. You know what I'm saying? Yep.
Right.
But weed is drugs.
Yeah.
Cigarettes
Right.
putting somebody in the
Right.
ground right now.
Man.
But weed is drugs.
Why do they call a cigarette a coffin nail?
Okay.
Right. And that's how we always say, like we said, we ain't trying to rob nobody. Shit, we hungry. We matter of fact, we contributing to the economy because
You spending
Taco
your last
Bell.
dollar trying to get some meat.
Look at Jack in the Box. What that
I guarantee-
menu at night's for?
Uber stocks going up.
Man.
I guarantee you a pothead came up with shit like Uber Eats and DoorDash. Ain't nobody else but a
It's like,
pothead
man,
gonna think of
Sit
it.
here chilling. Like,
Yeah,
man,
you
wish
can-
somebody
Can I be honest
delivered
with y'all
that.
about something? No, this is real. I
What's
know we only
that?
got 6 minutes left, but can I be honest with y'all about something? This is real talk.
Okay.
I mean this. I mean it with all my heart. Los, you know this person because you've known me a very long time.
Mm.
You saw me before weed, you saw me during weed, you see me after weed, right?
Right.
All right. I came from. I did weed a whole lot for about 2 years straight. And I smoked the best stuff of weed for about 2 years straight, every day. The only time I was sober was when I went to go hang out with my mom. This is real. This is real talk.
So he wasn't high, mama.
Okay, let's get that straight. But when I got off of weed, which I've been now for a while now, my alertness is back. Being very honest, my alertness in terms of being able to see what's going on around me in real time, my ability to pay attention and be aware. My awareness, I should have said alertness. My awareness is a lot more refined, and here's how I know. The people that surround me that smoke a lot of weed, they're catching up to me during conversations. And the reason they're behind me is because we were at the same pace when we was all smoking together. But when I stopped, I noticed I know y'all don't want to hear this, but when I stopped,
Yeah.
I noticed this is true.
Yeah.
I noticed my awareness and literally my memory started coming back to me. I'm not saying that weed is a bad product because I now have returned a lot of my faculties. What I'm saying is I lost a lot of my faculties as a result of long-term intensive use.
Now, let me put it to you a different way.
Go ahead.
Let me put it to you a different way. What if your faculties have always been intact, but marijuana made you more creative, whereas it made the people that you were hanging out with less creative? So what if it had more to do with body chemistry, how your body reacted to a certain strain of weed versus the three of us just sitting around being stoned
Rick, that's a good
and
question.
not really understanding what you're saying. It's
that's-
not that we're not understanding,
That's a
but
good question, Rick.
you're in the same place, but that same strain has your mind 15 miles ahead because you're thinking about things.
Rick, that's a good question. I'm gonna tell you what it was, man. About a year before I stopped smoking altogether, I remember one of our brothers, Devin, who was talking, and he was talking to somebody else about something, about weed and everything and why they had to stop. And I remember, you know how when somebody's talking, you know how like there's no BS in terms of their response. Like, I feel what you're saying, so I'm not gonna BS you. Like, I feel what you're saying.
Right.
Hey man, he went, you're right, man, weed does slow you down, but and that stuck with me. I don't know why I did at the time, but that stuck with me. He said, hey man, weed slow you down though. And the person that he was talking to was like saying, yeah. And Rook was like a heavy smoker at that time, still is by the way. But he was like this. And when I started experiencing those same issues, I went, oh shit, there's some kind of truth to that. So to test the hypothesis, when I got off of weed for an extended period of time, the hypothesis came true. Now, am I saying, I know we got a little bit limited time. Am I saying stop smoking weed because that's going to slow you down, you're going to be dumber, and all that? That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I saw how it affected other people that talked about it. I saw how it affected other people that talked about it before I had the symptoms. But when I started having the symptoms and I stopped, I started seeing the symptoms in other people in my relation to them. That's all I'm saying.
Now, see, I'm with Rick because I think what I'm about to say plays with him too. I'm no different. It does not. I don't feel like it slows me down. And with Mama,
I saw that first one.
It's
You
not-
released your talents.
it's not all a down.
No, it is not.
Well, the Mama
No,
said it's a downer, not
That's
an upper.
because of when she came in.
And it's different because Wednesday we'll explain to you the differences
Right,
in what
right,
is the
right,
downer,
right.
what is the upper. But for me, like, my mind's always going whether I'm smoking or not. It goes more when I'm smoking. So I'm like he said, I'm at a faster pace because now I'm really thinking about more shit than I do. It may slow me down to where I might want to do something depending on what I smoke. If I smoke an indica,
Or sativa.
I'm not. If it's a sativa, I'm gonna get it done. I'm gonna have
Right.
the whole house clean and not even
Right.
know that I did that shit.
It'll help you concentrate on stuff. Some people are able to think about 2 or 3 different things at the same time,
I think we got a caller, y'all.
but it makes you look at things.
Hello, caller.
Hey, Jeremy, I put it to the mic.
Hello, caller.
Yeah,
And who do we have calling in?
this is Joy.
Oh, hey, Mama Joyce, how you doing?
Just
Okay, I need to cut down. I think I need to cut down my
You cut down the
my
TV.
hours. Cut down the TV.
Yeah.
Hold on. Yeah. Hold on one second. Let me cut down. Yeah, let me cut down the TV.
Oh, hey, Mama Joyce, how you doing?
Good. I just have a comment.
Okay.
Can you? Okay. Look, I smoked when I was younger. I smoked a lot of weed. We smoke weed sometimes 2 and 3 times a day.
Okay.
Going to work, getting up from work, in between work. We smoked on lunch hour, break, and everything. And I can attest when I stopped and I tried to go back and smoke again, I couldn't handle it. My mind would not tolerate it. It's one thing I know about weed, and weed is a downer. And it's a downer for people who are used to operating at a high level of speed. Now, you can smoke or do anything so much that it seems like it's the norm to you. And the only way you don't know that you're not functioning within your real or within your realm of possibility or within the real realm of who you really are is if you clear your body out and then you are able to make a clear assessment. But if you don't do that, you won't really know whether it's what kind of effect it's having on you. And for me, I like it because I operated at such a high level. It leveled me off. Mm-hmm. And I was able to keep up with everybody else instead of them trying to keep up with me. But I just don't think that. I think that anything you take, and they say weed is natural, that may be, but it's like natural like anything else. You're going to always want to go higher because you're going to get tired of operating at that level of mode, and you're going to want to go higher. And that's how people end up becoming addicted to one thing or another. Thank you for letting me call in. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Next time, call a little bit earlier, Mama. Call at the end of the show. Anyway, yeah, we about all out of time.
We're gonna have to respond to that on the next go round.
Yeah.
I got some information for that.
We'll talk to her.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, but we appreciate you calling in, Mama Joyce. So thank you so much. We appreciate it. And
we're about done for today, right? Again, y'all saw it was flashing. www.thedailysmoke.com THA dailysmoke.com. right. Because I was thinking about the weed I'm about to do. So that anyway, donation support. Thank y'all for. Don't forget to hit the like button because that's the main support there. You hit that like button, you watch us, you share us. That's good enough. But if you want to contribute a little bit more so we can continue bringing you this content that we do, you see that everything is looking a little different, and those donations help with that. So we want to thank each and everybody out here. Ricky Ray, man, appreciate you coming through, man.
always, brother.
Rick Ray here with us. He's going to be with us on Wednesday. You do want to make sure y'all come on, watch on Wednesday, because now, the hell with the government sitting all that. We're going to have fun now. Why we do this?
I had a good time.
This is what we're going to do.
Oh, yeah, I had a great time, man. Great time.
Cool. This is what we do here. This is what we call it, an experience. You just had the experience with the smoke. You just had your experience with
Bring the smoke, baby. Bring the smoke. Bring the smoke. Bring the smoke.
And on Wednesday,
that's right.
On Wednesday, hopefully y'all can see it. It ain't just a big old cloud talking to y'all. It's 420. We're going to smoke. Either way, thank you all for watching, tuning in. Again, Monday through Friday, 7 o'clock every day. The sessions tomorrow. What's it about tomorrow?
Tomorrow is going to be about... Oh, man, you put me
Avatar.
on... Yes, it's the Avatar episode.
Avatar.
So if you like that show, Avatar, man, come check us out. We're going to talk about the show Avatar tomorrow on Smoke Sessions.
Right.
Looking
So anyways, we've gone way over anyway. I'm Brother Los.
Brother Jam.
I'm Brother Run, and I bring all the lies up out of here.
And Rick Ray here with us. So thank you so much.
Man.
And we are the Daily Smoke.
We are
Out.